I think we have just listened to one of the key lectures from Professor Yoshua Bengio about how important the alignment of human and AI goals. So on that, and we just witnessed the ceremony of kickoff for the very first Vietnam Ethical AI Committee. So maybe first, Dr. Truong Gia Binh, can you spend some minutes to talk about the meaning of this committee?
Yeah, actually, Professor Yoshua Bengio very interested in safety and ethical AI. We spent this 2.5 hours during the lunch time talking about that. And we see many concerns and no answers. And concern critical. And we don't have clear. Yes, we have some directions, but not clear the solution for that. And I think the first thing, so important things, is awareness. Let in Vietnam, as much as possible, people know what the human facing with and share the values. And that is very important. That's the first one. And first meaning of this committee. But second, who make AI also very important. They should be responsive. They should be committed to follow the regulation, not explicit, just from the heart. Like Hippocrates, doctors, yeah, promise, and that's two things. Promise and awareness. That's about the committee.
Thank you very much for a wonderful meaning for that. Professor Yoshua Bengio, I think a few years ago, when I saw you in one of the largest conferences like ICML, I think we talked about scientists like you and many join hands to actually give some oath for not using AI in autonomous weapon. Did you still remember that? Can you share with us a little bit about that?
I've been worried about the use of AI in the military for about a decade. 2014 is when AI moved from university labs to academia, to industry. 2013 really is when, for example, Google bought DeepMind, and Facebook hired Yann LeCun, and Google hired Jeff Hinton. And mostly they were interested in computer vision, and for military application, that was already an issue. We were thinking about autonomous drones already, and how they could automate warfare in ways that could be very dangerous, in the wrong hands, of course. And at that time, it sounded a little bit like science fiction. Mm-hmm. Now, some version of that is on the battlefield. Not yet fully autonomous, but more and more. And a lot of people are anxious about this. In fact, I think that's one of the reasons why we're starting to see some progress in negotiations between countries about lethal autonomous weapons, killer robots. Because if there's a place where moral judgment is crucial, it is in life and death situations. So in the medical domain, or on the battlefield. You should not kill someone unless you have a really, really good reason to do it. I think you should not kill. But if you're attacked, maybe this is a situation where you could do it. But even then, it's tricky. It's morally complicated. And since we struggle, we don't know how to make AI systems behave morally, it's a dangerous proposition.
Alignment problems in AI is one of the super critical and the most, I think, one of the hardest problems to solve. And looking in the autonomous weapon, it can be very dangerous because now just one person can control 1,000 of drones.
Right.
And if those drones can make decisions to kill.
I've heard about is during the Cold War, there were some false alarms. I mean, between USSR and the US. And at some point, there were some false alarms, and the protocol meant that the Russians were supposed to send nuclear missiles to the US. I mean, but it was a mistake. And some human being decided to not follow the protocol because they thought, well, maybe it is a false alarm, and if I press on the button, maybe millions of people are going to die. Maybe it's going to start a war that will be very difficult to stop. So we were saved by humans who thought very carefully about the moral question and the risks. But if it's a robot that executes the orders,
well. And to the surprise, right? 2018, there was 3 Turing Award winner, and coincidentally, 2 of you from Canada, Jeffrey Hinton and Joshua, both raised the voice about AI safety. The other one, Jan LeCun, Professor Jan LeCun, is from US. He still promotes, of course, the development of AI.
we do promote the development of AI.
Okay.
But safe AI.
Safe, yes. So, but
Right.
my question is that Canada? Is that the denomination that makes you think that?
I don't know. I think each of us has a different history. I think there are a lot of psychological factors that explain the moral choices that people make. And I don't want to go into these now, but it's not simple.
Okay, so I want to switch gear a little bit. We see a very far future that existential risk is the probability of that is not zero. It's a fact, right? It's greater than zero.
Yes, as I said, like 40% of machine learning researchers think it's greater than 10%.
Yes, wow. So
That's a lot.
yeah, that's probability. It means that we have to
We have to
really
take it
careful.
seriously.
Yes. So how about zooming back a little bit to shorter time frame?
Yeah.
Okay. So AI will be able to automate a lot of tasks.
Yes.
So job loss.
In general, it seems that the more autonomy, agency, and so on is something that humans are better at. But it may change in the future. The lower end of the spectrum is going to be automated before the higher end of the spectrum.
Yeah, but we talked about this before. So you see the recent layoff of many big tech company. Is this the work of automation in AI, or is this because of the economical adjustment?
Maybe a mix.
A mix.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it came at a time where the economy was not good for these companies.
Okay, young people today stand in front of the choice. Go for IT, for AI, or don't go. They don't because they scare AI will replace them in future.
Yeah.
And the go is another options. And I actually thinking like that. Before AI, We produce a lot of things, clothes, food, everything. Without the AI and without the IT, in future, the old job will be gone. But new job
Sure.
create in huge capacities.
For some time, yes.
Yeah. For example, my food may be different from your food, and in one lunch, your food different, my food different, and to make it, you need to have mastering AI
Right.
and know how AI work and adapt new AI too. And therefore, the AI skill and IT skill, understanding things, algorithm, is critical for everybody. Who got AI, who got this kind of skill, will have job in future.
Right.
Who don't have it, I think they lost. That is my thinking about.
Something related is that, okay, so if we look again at the places where current AI is not very strong, it's not strong at all in anything physical, and it's not, for that reason and other reasons, it's probably not going to be what we use to replace humans in their relational interactions. So when we apply AI or apply IT in areas that are very specialized and involve humans, and you need humans to understand the situation to decide how we use technology. So a lot of application domains that are very complex, very social, human factors.
Every job.
Yeah. So these aspects very likely will stay in human hands, and will use AI to do the,
To innovate even.
eventually, yeah, to design new technology. But that is different from understanding the social context where we apply technology in society.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you. So so for that future, right? You all two maybe agree that who understands the logic behind how
Well,
all
we
of
still
this
need
work,
that,
right?
of course.
We all need that, and especially the algorithmic thinking, the design of machine learning, all of that. We all need that in the future. So maybe that students need to prepare for that. But how about younger children? Do they need to do homework nowadays?
Of course, they need to develop their brain.
Okay, so what kind of homework would you give to a student nowadays? Because you would absolutely know that they would use ChatGPT
Right.
to solve it.
So I think children will need to have a really good understanding of our world, our society, of science, politics, philosophy, reasoning. So, for example, that they will be less easily influenced by, disinformation. That they will be better citizens. That they will be able to change jobs easily because they have broad understanding, not just one. Like, the danger with automation is we don't know what is going to be automated. And so if a person is very, very specialized in a narrow field and that gets to be automated, that's a problem. If they also have a broad understanding, then it's going to be a lot easier to shift to something else. Right? So we need to have a more general education in addition to some specialized knowledge. And maybe, we need to educate our computer scientists and engineers with more humanities, social sciences, philosophy, ethics, even like law and so on, how our society works. We need our engineers to understand these aspects of society and humanity so that they can apply AI and other technologies in a mindful way to understand the impact of how we choose to develop AI, where we apply it. More and more, I see teachers that do oral exams. Okay, so no chat GPT, you have to answer by yourself, right?
Yes.
So you have to understand what you're talking about. By the way, understanding what you're studying is super important. This is how you can eventually do science, but it's also something that allows you to be efficient in your work. So it's not just about learning facts, it's about actually understanding so you can generalize to new situations. And to understand, you need to always ask the question, why?
Why? Curiosity.
Okay, let I give another scenarios of a new teaching and learning way. Vietnam now seems a Thai of Vietnam. Vietnam probably from next years and beyond will be grow, I think, 2 digits.
Really?
Yeah, that's a very special time because very special geopolitical situation in the world. Okay, and what I would like to teach students to contribute to this process. I will make the AI teachers, but that's not interesting. AI asks the student asks AI.
Right.
And then the people learn, oh, I know how to build very strong Vietnam, for example. Yeah, that's a new way of working together. Human AI collaborations.
Right.
Yeah, so teachers have to adapt to the new wave of AI, and I think new educations. So let's talk a little bit about philosophy. So if you see in the past, in our history, so human already established a lot of information network. From history, we have maybe many information technology tools to retrieve information from, like when we invent printing, is when the information start to blow and grows, and it changed a lot for the political system as well in the world. For example, in the past, people would go for witch hunting, right? And because of printing, it makes the matters even worse. So nowadays, with AI, with Gen AI, there are more and more information, overflow of information. And does it mean it's going to be better with more information? Or is there a risk of AI actually break down our social system of democracy?
There's clearly a risk. One of the things that a lot of governments are afraid of is the use of AI in politics and disinformation. So there's already deep fakes, images, videos, recordings that are fake of voices, and you can now generate a politician saying something that they would not say, and this is just the beginning. The quality of these content generated by AI is going to get stronger and stronger, and anybody can use them. And so we need to think what it's going to do to the social fabric. People might not trust what they read on the internet anymore. I mean, they shouldn't anyways, but it's just going to get worse. And the issues of polarization that we see with social media could get worse. I don't know. There's so many difficult questions. That is one reason why I think we need to do a lot more to understand those changes quietly and, maybe put the right guardrails where they're needed. But unfortunately, right now, I'm not very optimistic with the political situation. Europe is moving in a good direction right now with the AI Act, but it's Europe, right? So the main AI development is in the US.
So, Dr. Bing, I know you have a very unique opinion on this. Should AI be restrained in so much, or should it be free?
I think the AI or without AI, we have to think AI is super something with superpower. Should be combined this balance. We should AI help people balance.
Ideally, yes.
That should be great.
Yes, and there will be always two sides. One side will try to use AI to do bad thing, and another one side is we to try to use AI to prevent that. And we definitely want to somehow encourage the development of a safe AI or police AI in order to make them stronger than if the bad guy attack. And I think that's important too.
Right.
Yeah. And for the couple of last minutes, I know this is your first time in Vietnam, so I would like to hear some of your thoughts, your impressions about Vietnam, about the students, about FPT, whatever you want to say.
The hair color different.
I arrived yesterday,
Yes.
So
You see a lot of motorbike too?
I see a lot of motorbikes, and I tried crossing the street.
Traffic. Terrible.
Yes. But it was not as bad as in India, so it's all relative. And a lot of hospitality, so I'm very grateful. And a lot of energy, a lot of young people. That's great to see. We need that. There are some really big challenges in front of humanity now, and we need all the minds of young people to figure it out, not the old guys. We need you guys and girls.
The young generation.
Young generation are going to ones to have to deal with those problems and put their minds to it. So thank you.
One from you want to ask directly to professors? Okay.
Hi, my name is Hua. I'm a doctor in natural language processing. I currently work in FPT Digital. And so I have a question for the professor. Actually, it's directed to your last slide about the non-agentic AI. And one thing that keeps me thinking was that you mentioned that the AI should be able to ask the question why.
Sorry, that the AI would what?
You mentioned the AI would want to ask the question why. The why question.
No, that was about humans, so that we try to understand. But you're right. We also want the AI to build an explanation, which is the why question.
Yes, and so, but isn't it that you just mentioned that it is the very core essence of human to ask and answer the question why? But wouldn't that lead back to the same problem as you were to build an agentic AI?
I don't think so. So there's a nice thing. We can have a mathematical understanding of the why question, actually. And the way that science works is very closely related to that.
Yeah.
So what we're trying to do in science, and also in the kind of approach that I talked about, which has classical roots, is to consider all the possible explanations and construct, if you want, in principle, a score for each explanation, where the score is a product of two factors.
Yeah.
One has to do with what's called description length, so it has to be a simple explanation. The simplest explanations are better.
Yeah.
And this gives you like one number. And the other is how well it fits the data. Like, given the explanation, how many bits of information can you explain about the data? And these two together give you the Bayesian posterior.
Yeah.
So this is something that doesn't need to have a personality, doesn't need to have a self, doesn't need to have goals. It's just a mathematical object that we can apply optimization and learning to in order to zoom in on the explanations that are simple and explain a lot.
Okay, so basically a probability models.
Yes.
Only a probability model.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes.
This is Hassan from AI Center, FPD AI Center. My question is about the idea of self-preservation that you mentioned.
Yeah.
So for self-preservation, so we already doing a lot of systems that are in place to evaluate the LLMs, right? So can't we kind of build a system that can trigger the user that it's a continuous monitoring system, let's say, and it's monitoring for a certain indications for self-preservations to be present in the system, and that can include the human in the loop, that, hey, I detected something like this happening in the system, you might want to take a look and kind of switch off the power or something like this.
Right. Yeah, actually, some of the work going on in various labs in interpretability of what's going on inside the neural nets is trying to extract that kind of information. Is the AI having goals that we don't want, for example? Is the AI trying to scheme and lie to us? But it's even better if we can design it in such a way that by construction, it will be safe. I think we still want to have many layers of safety and protection. So we should do all the things that we can to make sure the really catastrophic outcomes will not come. But yeah, you're on the right path. Continue.
Thank you. Just one more question that I would like to ask is about the regulation of AI. So what's the best way to regularize AI, especially if this is an option of open source and closed source? And what's the most safest way in terms of regularizing AI?
Okay, so the question between open source and closed source is complex. Open source has a lot of advantages. I've been a big proponent of open source all my life, and we could accelerate a lot of research and ecosystem development and so on. And it's an equalizer across countries. But for AI systems that are so powerful that they can become weapons, for example, to design biological weapons, then the negative side is a bigger problem than the positive side. So it depends on the AI systems. Most AI systems, they should be, no problem to open source. But if it's something that we could lose control, like as I discussed, or that could become a weapon in the wrong hands, then we should not make it easy for lots of people to create a catastrophic outcome in the world. Like we don't have access to everybody, having nuclear weapons. It's, there are laws in various countries so that you can't do that. But most of our activity, we don't need to have those barriers. So we just have to be mindful and selectful, and regulation should be something that allows society to decide where do we put, the balance of what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. It shouldn't be one company does it, that way, and another company maybe is less responsible and, just puts out something that could be then dangerous for society.
And can we streamline it with the global body?
We need global coordination. Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Very constructive questions. I think that we have only one more question. Yeah, the last one.
Hello, Dr. Joshua and Dr. Binh. Thanks for the very insightful presentation and discussion. I'm from AI Centers, and I'm managing the research topic related to AI for programming. And we have published a lot of papers with Mila throughout the collaboration together, right? So I have one question related to that program. So if AI system become the primary creators of software, how should we address the ethical concern around accountability and intellectual property? Right? Will developers still be credited for their role, or will the AI itself become the primary author?
Okay, so I think it would be a huge mistake to treat AI systems or computer systems like people. We program the computers. The authors of the code, the human authors of the code, the people who develop the AI systems are responsible for the good things and the bad things. And from a legal perspective, they should be liable if they put out something that ends up having a lot of destruction in the world. So, and the same thing goes for authorship. And, it's complicated, and a lot of lawyers, I'm not a lawyer, are like trying to think about these questions. But we should avoid the temptation to think of machines like we think of humans.
Thank you for your sharing today. In FPT now, we have 80,000 members, and all of us now try to use the AI daily to the education, to software, to telecoms. So what is your message to send to our young people today? Because we are eager to learn, do a lot of innovation. So what your message want to send to our people?
Well, we're going to need many more minds, as I said earlier, to understand what we're doing with AI, understand how we can develop it in a way that's beneficial for humanity, and work together on building a better world. And that's exciting.
Thank you. And that's it. We wrap up the panel discussion. Thank you very much, Professor Yoshua Bengio.